Have you ever noticed how your avoidant ex seemed completely fine after the breakup? Almost too fine? They pulled away, acted distant, and made you feel like you never really mattered. But what if that silence you're holding now is slowly becoming unbearable for them? At first, your avoidant ex feels relief. They tell themselves they needed space, that the breakup was for the best. But what they don't expect is how silence begins to echo louder than your words ever did. When you stop reaching out, something shifts deep inside them. The very peace they thought they wanted starts to feel like emptiness. You see, avoidants crave control over connection. They feel safest when they choose the distance. But when you choose silence, when you stop chasing, stop explaining, stop begging to be seen, the power dynamic flips. Suddenly, the one who feared closeness begins to fear losing your energy entirely. This video will take you behind the mask of the avoidant mind to reveal the emotions they hide even from themselves. You'll see why ignoring your avoidant ex isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Because every moment you stay silent, you're teaching them something no words could ever express, that your worth doesn't need validation, and your peace can't be negotiated. If you've ever felt invisible to someone you loved, this message is for you. Stay until the end, because what happens when your silence finally hits them will change the way you see the entire relationship and yourself forever. When you finally go silent, something begins to shift. Not just in them, but in you. At first, your avoidant ex feels a strange kind of peace. They convince themselves they needed this space, that silence means freedom. They might even tell themselves they're finally over it. But beneath that calm exterior, a quiet storm begins to brew. Avoidants are used to being chased. They feel secure, knowing you're still there, waiting, hoping, reaching out. Your messages, even when ignored, feed their sense of control. But the moment you stop, that control dissolves. Your silence becomes unfamiliar, unsettling. It's not anger or bitterness, it's absence. And absence for the avoidant is far more powerful than words. Days turn into weeks, and the silence they once wanted begins to feel too quiet. Their mind replays the moments you used to fill, the laughter, the warmth, the energy that surrounded them. They start wondering where you went, not physically, but emotionally, because now your energy no longer orbits around them, it's moving on. And here's the truth most people miss. Your silence isn't punishment, it's presence redirected inward. It's a sign that you've stopped performing for someone else's approval and started honoring your own peace. The avoidant may not admit it, but your stillness forces them to confront what they've been avoiding all along. Their fear of intimacy, their discomfort with love, and their inability to face real loss. In your quiet, they hear something louder than any argument could ever express. You've stopped trying to fix what wasn't yours to fix. When the silence begins, your avoidant ex feels an almost instant wave of relief. The tension, the emotional expectations, the pressure to connect, all of it seems to fade. They tell themselves, finally, I can breathe. It's a defense mechanism, not freedom. They confuse peace with avoidance, calm with disconnection. In those first few days or weeks, they convince themselves they made the right choice. They dive into distractions, work, friends, hobbies, maybe even someone new. Anything to fill the space where your presence used to be. But this relief isn't real peace. It's emotional anesthesia. It numbs. It doesn't heal. Avoidants crave control. Your silence seems like proof they've succeeded, that you've finally given up. But deep down, something feels off. The dynamic that once centered on them has gone quiet. And that quiet isn't comfortable, it's haunting. As they begin to notice your absence isn't an act but a shift, that fake relief starts to unravel. Slowly they realize the silence they once desired is not freedom, it's a reflection of what they've truly lost. It doesn't happen overnight. At first, your avoidant ex doesn't even notice the depth of your silence. They're too busy convincing themselves they're fine. But as time passes, small moments start to expose the emptiness they tried so hard to ignore. The morning scroll through their phone feels different. The nights grow quieter. The people they turn to for distraction don't feel the same. Slowly, a realization creeps in. You're really gone. Avoidants often live in emotional denial. They protect themselves by suppressing feelings until reality forces them to surface. And your absence does exactly that. When you stop reaching out, you take away the comfort of being wanted. You remove the mirror that reflected their importance. Without it, they start feeling the weight of their own emotional emptiness. The silence they once craved now feels like rejection. The peace they wanted begins to sting. Every unanswered thought, every quiet night, becomes a reminder that they're not in control anymore. You are. Your absence becomes a teacher. It shows them that space doesn't erase connection. It amplifies what was left unresolved. And for the first time, they start to feel the truth they've been running from. Losing someone who truly cared is far more painful than staying vulnerable ever was. After days or weeks of your silence, a subtle shift begins. The avoidant ex who once felt relief now grows curious, a curiosity wrapped in discomfort. They start replaying memories, wondering why you stopped reaching out, why your energy no longer orbits around them. That silence, once ignored, now commands attention. Avoidants are wired to maintain distance, yet they also fear losing what they can't control. Your absence exposes a gap they didn't anticipate. Thoughts they dismissed as unimportant begin to resurface. Your laughter, your presence, the way you lit up moments they thought they could forget. Curiosity is the first crack in the wall they've built. They begin to wonder, is this permanent? Did I misjudge what I had? That inner tug, a mix of longing and uncertainty, pulls them toward introspection. It's uncomfortable, yes, but necessary. Your silence isn't manipulation, it's clarity. It forces them to reckon with their feelings, to notice what they've been avoiding. The avoidant, who once ran from intimacy, now starts to acknowledge it internally. And in that space, the possibility of emotional connection, the very thing they feared, begins to resurface. Once the avoidant ex's curiosity takes hold, it quickly turns into reflection and often regret. They begin replaying moments they dismissed, conversations they overlooked, and gestures they took for granted. The silence you've held acts like a mirror, showing them what they lost while they were focused on keeping distance. This is when emotional pull kicks in. They feel the subtle ache of absence, the longing for the connection they once avoided. That initial relief they felt now clashes with a creeping awareness. You're not just gone, you're moving on. Avoidants fear vulnerability, but your silence forces them to confront the reality of loss without the comfort of control. The quiet you maintain becomes magnetic, drawing their thoughts and emotions back to you. And in that tension between regret and reflection, they begin to recognize what your presence truly meant and what they risk letting slip away forever. Staying silent isn't easy, especially when your heart still aches. The pull to check their messages, respond to old patterns, or seek reassurance can feel overwhelming. But here's the truth. Empowerment comes when you resist that urge and honor your own peace. Silence is not emptiness, it's presence redirected. Every day you choose not to chase, you strengthen your boundaries and reclaim your energy. Avoidants thrive on control, but when you step back, you shift the power dynamic without saying a single word. You are no longer available to soothe their discomfort, and that clarity is magnetic. Empowerment also comes from self-focus. Use this time to nurture your passions, reconnect with your values, and rebuild your emotional foundation. The more grounded and fulfilled you become, the less their absence destabilizes you, and the more compelling your presence becomes in their subconscious mind. Remember, staying silent isn't about punishment. It's about respect for yourself and the natural rhythm of connection. You're teaching them, without confrontation, that your love and attention are not disposable, that quiet strength is irresistible. The journey of silence isn't about winning or losing. It's about reclaiming yourself. By stepping back from an avoidant ex, you give yourself the gift of clarity, peace, and emotional freedom. You're no longer caught in a cycle of chasing, questioning, or trying to fix what wasn't meant to be fixed. Instead, you create space to honor your worth and focus on what truly matters, your growth and healing. For the avoidant, your absence is a mirror reflecting what they've been avoiding. They may feel curiosity, regret, or even longing, but ultimately, your silence teaches a powerful lesson that your love and presence are not negotiable. You've shifted the dynamic, not through confrontation or manipulation, but through quiet, unwavering strength. Healing doesn't mean waiting for them to realize what they lost. Healing means standing tall in your own light, letting go of what doesn't serve you, and trusting that the right people will meet you where you are. Your silence is not emptiness, it's empowerment, transformation, and a declaration that your peace is priceless.